How's it going, y'all? What's going on? Wait for some people to get up in here. Petsotics, how's it going? Shade Gravy, what up? What up? Okay, what's going on, y'all? What's up, fish people? Today, focus will be on color combinations with compatible fish and substrates. To give people some ideas of some cool color combinations that will go well together and not really clash with each other. So we'll just wait for a few more people to get in here. I know somebody else might have started. Alex is on live right now. That's where everybody is. What's going on, Maxie? What's up? What's going on, Jorge? Oh, Alex popped up today too, huh? All right, today we're going to do a talk about color combinations. And I think we should do a series where the color combination of fish is what substrate you, whatever substrate you pick is the color of fish that you will be going off of. So that's how we'll be doing this series right here. We'll be doing this series off of your substrate being the focal point of the reason why you pick the color of fish that you pick. So this will be pretty much what fish look better on dark, or what fish look better on light substrate or medium substrate. and the combos, the color combinations that go well, that don't mesh in with the substrate or your decor, whether it be plants or artificial decoration. A lot of fish will give their a camouflage color, so whereas they try to blend in to their environment. A lot of catfish do this because predators swimming above them. So you got to think, if you got a black pleco with white spots on it, and if you put that pleco on a dark substrate, those white spots will probably bleed away a little bit to give it more camouflage. Or you would say that the spots would get smaller in diameter. But that same pleco, say, like how I have my L181 peppermint bristlenose in this 40 gallon right here with these wide-eye tetra, you can see the spots on these plecos pretty good because of the substrate being more contrast and allowing the pleco to show more of the white spots. And that's the difference between the L183, the Starlight pleco, and the L181, the peppermint bristlenose. The peppermint has more spread out, bigger spots, and the Starlight is more like you would imagine a starry sky, where it's just clusters and clusters and clusters of stars all together. So the Starlight is just a bunch of tiny white dots all over the pleco versus the peppermint, who still has a bunch of tiny spots all over, but the spots are more, or you can see the spots more. They're bigger and they're less spots. So that's why I choose to have the L181 besides the L183, because no matter the substrate, those spots are pretty small. Now, I would say actually on this substrate, this white peppered with a little bit of black, I would say that the L183 would probably still show some really good color, but I prefer the peppermint, the L181. In this tank also we have Stir By Corey, which I feel like Stir By is one of those plecos that it's blessed with the fact that it doesn't really have like it has really a more of a pattern to it than just a plain color. So that would give you more options for the Stir By to go with other fish because of the pattern on it. And even the swimming fish above don't even have crazy elaborate patterns as the Stir By do. But one thing I do notice is I have Stir By growing out in a tank with dark substrate, and the babies are more golden looking, and the dorsal fins are, no, not the dorsals, but well, yeah, the dorsals are more orange, but the spines on their swimmers, they are like really, really orange, really orange. So that's on dark substrate, along with these. They call these blueberry wide-eye tetras. There is blue on them, but like we're talking about right now, I think I might need to actually put these guys on dark substrate in order to see what their color really could look like on a dark substrate. Maybe they actually are more blue, because on this light substrate, even though it's peppered with some black, these guys still show more of a pink red, but the body on the inside is a iridescent bluish purple. So I do see where you could get the name of the blueberry tetra. But I would say these are like you should call them the fuchsia berry, raspberry blue tetra. We call it that. That would have been cool. Raspberry blue tetra. Go call it that. Big Steve, what up? What up? Now with this angel, I had this angel in here at first with a double dark green Panoy, and they gave me babies. But one day I woke up and I couldn't find the female, and I looked behind the tank and she was there, dried up. Like, man, what happened? And she was pretty big, but this guy looks so good on this white with pepper substrate with a black background. That's another thing I forgot to put in there too. We're talking about the substrate, but the background matters too. I only really do black backgrounds, but yeah, I would never do anything other than a black background. To be honest, it makes most fish pop. Now those backgrounds that they have on those crazy aquascape tanks with the lights that fade from different colors, those are pretty cool too. But other than that, I would only go with black or maybe a 3D background, depending on what fish would go in there, or depending on what 3D background you find that's cool. That's when you find the color and you figure out, okay, I like this pattern right here. I don't have the tank set up. I'm going to put this in there. I'm going to get this color substrate. Then you pick your fish color. You do a little research. And hopefully this will be the place where you can get that research done, because we'll be doing lots of tank viewings of fish on different substrates to see what their full color and their full potential could actually be. So we can get these tanks looking really good. Get them where you want them. Have all the best colors that you can have together, where none of them bleed out because of the substrate or they're trying to camouflage or make themselves lighter. We want them to be popping. So this tank right here, as I said before, has the Hyphessa Bricon Wad-Eye, the blueberry tetra, which is only one of two of the new blueberry, quote unquote, blueberry tetras that's out. The second blueberry tetra that it's also called a blueberry tetra is the Hyphessa Bricon Elios. I don't know if they call it the Elios or it's the Ios, because E before I sounds like a Y. So Ios. What's going on, Garcia? Alfish? What's going on? How y'all doing? We're talking about color combinations. What's going to go good with each other? Things that are compatible with each other too. So you don't just fill up a tank, fill a pretty fish, and then they just beat the hell out of each other. A lot of people wonder if you can have angels with certain fish that are small, and like they say, the rule of thumb is if the fish can fit in another fish's mouth, then it's probably good to say that it's eligible to be fish food. But from my breeding and raising experience and not being able to have so much space, I raise a lot of fish together as fry. So I might have a group of what? You should plan things out. What? I might have a group of angelfish that are just free swimmers, but I have a group of tetrafry that are about 2-3 weeks, and they just got a little size to them. But they can't eat the angelfish fry. So I put those angelfish fry in there with those tetras, because those angels are gonna grow pretty quickly too. And what I've noticed is when fish grow with each other, they pretty much be chill. Like they pretty much chill. It's only when you add a new fish to a tank where you have to worry about something when it's you know, depending on the situation, depending on if you know your fish is aggressive or not. So like I know this angelfish right here, this isn't the aggressive one. If I drop the shrimp in there, the female that was with him, if you drop a shrimp in there, you drop anything that can fit in her mouth, she's gonna eat it. This guy, he don't really be feeling like hunting. He don't be feeling like hunting. Look at those fins. He don't feel like moving around like that. So we'll say we got pinkish blue fish that when you see them fired up, you can actually see a couple of them in here fired up. They actually do get really red on the outer lines of their body and a really deep blue on the inside of their body. So that is pretty cool. Like that line, look at that boy fired up. It depends on what fry you have and what stage of fry they're at. Uh, Guppies can eat all day, but you don't want them to bloat. You don't want their little tummies to explode. The way to do that is if you have guppies. One thing that I do with my guppies and my guppy fry, I I put them in tanks that have current in them, high current. So I make my guppies strong. My guppies are strong. When you get them, they strong. So it's kind of like how you would be eating and you burn your calories. You burn your calories when you start running. It's the same thing with fish. Their metabolism. So you want to kind of balance it. So if you're going to be feeding a lot, you want to make sure that they're moving a lot so that they can burn it off. You know what I mean? And make sure that you have plants in there if you're not trying to be doing 50, 100 water changes every week. I would say put floating plants in your tanks. Floating plants and hornwort and guppy grass. You could just take a container like a basket and hook it up to your aquarium and just put some guppy grass in a basket that has holes all over it. You know, a small little basket, clip it onto your tank, put it underneath the light or close to the light, and let it just sit in the aquarium in its own little thing. Then, depending on the size of the holes, you could actually have a spot for your fry to have a little place to hide, even for shrimp or something like that too. So, like how I have the basket in that tank right there, holding a bunch of African cichlid fry on the inside. They have a place to hide from the big boys. So that's another cool way I start doing things with these hydroponic baskets that I originally saw a video on YouTube. I forget, but I think it was a few years ago, maybe about 5 years ago, when I was started breeding the CPDs. I was trying to figure out how to get the eggs, and I found these baskets on YouTube from somebody. It might have been Dean. It actually might have been Dean, but it might have been somebody else. They put the foam around the handle, which I've learned that you don't really have to do that at all. Like if it has a lip on it and water can get underneath of it, it'll float. But I do take like a plastic clip and I just clip it to the side of the aquarium with the lip of the basket on the ledge of the aquarium. Do I have any 24 karat guppies? No. I feel like they're just a little too plain for me. And the thing about them, when you do see them and they look so good, it's always from the top. Yeah, LRB is cool. I got these rainbow tiger endlers from LRB probably about 6 years ago, and I've been breeding them since. I haven't lost any since, and I got some new level stuff. They're my actual endlers now. I have new lines of endlers. I call them Super Saiyan Rainbow endlers. I'll show you. I'll show you what they look like later. But those full golds, those 24 karat golds, I heard that they are pretty hard to maintain the coloration in them. Yeah, I mean, if you have a pond, it's always nice to have nice looking fish that you can see from up top. All right, I'm finally in this live chat. Sheesh. How's it going, everybody? What's going on, Only Oscars? Scatty, how you doing, Scatty? If y'all ever hungry, just look on my public. If you're ever hungry and you feel like cooking, look on my public playlist. I got some nice little menus on there. I got some cool recipes on there that I've been looking up, and I've been actually cooking for a few years, and now I actually got my own style of doing these things. So it's always good to have a base if you are uh, going to do anything. Find a foundation and then build off of that. But like I said, all right, let's turn up the light on this tank so we can actually see some color. And I'm going to turn down the blue light on here so we can get some real full color. No blue. All right, let's see. Take it. This is what the aquarium co-op light looks like. Yes, blackfish look great, look awesome in tanks. But it depends on what color substrate and what color background you put on there. Now, if you got a nice 3D background that looks real, a blackfish could really, really pop. If you got a black background, then it kind of gets a little, But I just don't like blue backgrounds. I don't like them. So I would say a black, like when I had my black angels, I had them all on white substrate. And they weren't even really black angels. They were Pinoy. They had the top half of their body was green, and the other half was dark black, tannish brown. Does anybody have any ideas of colors that they would like to have in their tank? Like I would say, like I normally do a combo pack. I'm going to be doing probably a combo pack for Skipper's auction this weekend. I haven't sent him my entries yet, but I think that I'm going to do a combo of a maybe two trios or two pairs of the Israeli snakeskin kois with maybe some red or maybe some orange shrimp. Maybe it'll be an orange pack. Maybe I'll do koi. I'll do koi, the snakeskin koi guppy, and then I'll do one pleco. I'll do a red spot. I'll do a red spot Rio Paraguay tetra I have, and I'll do some orange shrimp, and maybe a pair of Salawasi, Sabwa resplendens. Maybe a pair of those. What do y'all think about that? What do y'all think about that combo? So you'd have guppies, a rasbora, a pleco, and maybe like a 6-pack of shrimp, like a 6-pack of orange shrimp. How would that combo work? Man, I left my headphones in my car. It's not good. Only Oscars. Is that your water that you're saying you're grateful anything lives in it? What is your pH? Or is that Sketty you talking about? Whoa, cats won't even drink the tap water. You know it's nasty now. Cats will drink anything. How's it going, Dixon? Thanks for popping in. Thanks for popping in, y'all. You know, my cats prefer uh, the tank water too, but they'll still drink the tap water. But we do put the tap water through a purifier. But my Bengal, she prefers to climb up on the tanks. I used to not like it when she climbed up on my tank, so I used to like make her get down all the time. But now I got used to it. But now she's like addicted to the fact that she thinks that I still don't want her up there. So it gives her a thrill to go up on the top of the tank now. It's pretty funny. Like she used to uh, she used to run when she used to run when I used to say get down. Now she stays, but if I walk up to her and I say good girl, then she'll get down. It's hilarious. Sorry, that's my crinkly chair. All right, so I have a tank over here that has a bunch of different colored tetras and pencil fish in it, and it has white with peppered sand on it too, with a black background with just hardscape and some floating hornwort. We're gonna go look at that tank because I think the way that those colors pop. Oh, look at this! Look at this boy. He's on some eggs. Hopefully, those eggs have hatched because they will be going in this breeder box soon. I've actually found a way to keep my plecos alive because I was having a hard time keeping my baby plecos alive after they would last a week and then they just die. Somebody told me that they were starving. So I tested that out and I bought some paste food. It worked with my Rio Paraguay tetras. I mean, Paraguay plecos. That worked. It definitely worked. So that was the problem with them. But I tried it with my peppermint fry and they still were dying. So I had to really, really, really do some deep research because they're like I went into so many different forums to look exactly for what I was wanted to describe that I saw my baby plecos turning into. Like they would just start getting a white line on the bottom of their body, and then they would just start dying off. Like they'd be good for 2 weeks, and then they just start dying off, start turning white. So I started doing more research, couldn't find anything. Get tired of people so many different answers on Facebook. So I started doing my research on Google and I read a couple subreddits and I just took a 10-gallon, took some of my tank water out of this tank right here, put it in the 10-gallon, and I put an air stone and I used a little bit of ICX. And after I treated my plecos of the ICX, I didn't lose not one of those peppermint fry. So I've been kicking off the peppermint bristlenose like crazy lately. So if anybody's dealing with that situation, if they're breeding bristlenose plecos and they've been doing good, but recently they just started like they just won't breed anymore, the babies won't stay alive. It might be something microscopic in there messing with them, getting inside their guts. You might want to dose that tank with a little bit of ICX, even though ICX is pretty, they say it's pretty hard on the fish. But they do. I've heard of the Paragard working pretty good too. So nobody answered my question about the Skipper's auction on Saturday, Skipper's Aquarium auction, and I said that I wanted to do a combo. With last year I did a combo. This year I might do the same thing, where it will be the Israeli snakeskin koi guppies with orange shrimp and with one of the real Paraguay red spot plecos. So a pleco, a pair of guppies or two pair of guppies, and maybe a pair or a trio of the Sabla resplendens, the what is it, the rummy nose raspberry. Yes, Skipper's auction is on the 20th. Yes. Last time I tried to do the auction, I put up some of these African cichlids, but nobody bid at all. So the next one I did corridors, but I'm all sold out of my gold lasers right now. They're growing out. I got a bunch of little babies, and I won't be sending them off. I had to do corridors, and I think I did some of my red dragon guppies. Those red dragon guppies are really nice too. I could probably do that. I'd probably do the red dragons. They deserve to be out there too, as much as the snakeskin kois. It's still cold here. I would be afraid to buy fish. Well, if you bought fish from me, I would send them on a cold day here in Maryland and make sure that I drop a heat pack in there wrapped up in some a ball of newspaper so it don't get too hot. So that some of that newspaper can take some of that heat away, and I'd ship it overnight. But depending on the size of the box, that's when shipping gets pretty expensive, man. It's pretty wild, the cost of shipping. A 5 pound, say a 5 pound box that's 9 inches by 9 inches by 8. Let's say that's those are my boxes. 5 inches. 5 pounds. That shipping from next day to North Carolina was $78. That's how much that shipping was. For overnight shipping to North Carolina for a 5 pound box, 9 by 9 by 8, $78 for next day from Maryland to North Carolina. What is going on? Yeah. So you guys are my fish fan, my fish friends, and I just created a Facebook page. Specifically, it doesn't have anything on it yet or nothing. It just has the name Aquatica 87 Heaven on there. If you could go on to Facebook when you get a chance and send me a friend request, I'll accept it right away. But that's going to be my new other place where people can get in contact with me when they want to get fish and stuff like that. You can just DM me on there. You know, just write in when I start posting pictures or videos on Facebook. Just do the little eyes, the two little eyes looking emoji in the comment section, and I know you're trying to look at something, you're trying to holler at me about something. All right, so colors. Getting back to the subject. Let's go over to this other tank. See, like with African cichlids, the darker the substrate, the darker they are, for the most part. Not with an Mbunas. Those Mbunas with those solid colors, they just stay. Only time you'll see a pale Mbuna most likely is when there's a, if it's a subdominant getting beat around, beat up. There's a gal one state over from Idaho. Has some green swords. I want 45. She's still not shipped yet. Did you are you saying that she has the fish that you want and they're $45 but she doesn't ship? Is that what you're saying? All right. I'm definitely going to have to pay for this StreamYard so I can get that 1080p because the 720 is ugh. Brother, what is this? Ugh. Yep, that's just one state over. I mean, North Carolina, yep, that's two, one state over, really, one state in between us, Virginia. Virginia's pretty big, though. About 5 hours to get through Virginia. All right. So in this tank, we have the super red Cinnapa pencilfish. That's with the little red pencilfish right there. Fired up all the time. Just a stunning fish. How's it going, Legacy? We also have the super blue Kiri Tetra. These are tetras that I bred myself. You know, I'm gonna set up a tank just to get some more of these. I need to breed some of these, and I need to breed some more of my neon green rasboras. So I'll be doing those projects soon here. Maybe I'll just do a video on how I set up the tanks. Also have a breeding group of the raccoon tetras, the Hapesobricon procyon, or procyon, something like that. I think I'm saying it right. I have more males than I have females. I've bred them twice, and I've just been having terrible luck with the Hydra. So, out of like a bunch of the fish, I've only raised two of them. They were both males, and I have more in a 5.5 gallon growing out. But out of the hundreds of them, I've only had it's only two left in that tank. So it's crazy. Hydra kills. I have to just do that project in a brand new tank with a brand new sponge filter without anything that's been in another tank in it that had baby brine shrimp. Or maybe I could just take some steaming hot water over some of my fake moss. And, but I feel like I've done that before with the Hydra, trying to kill the Hydra, and it still came back. So I'll just have to put brand new stuff in a tank, which I don't really like to do. I like to set up a brand new tank, but I still like to put stuff that was in another tank. for a while in that tank to cycle the tank pretty quickly when I'm breeding the fish. But to be honest, you don't really need a cycled tank to breed fish. You just really need to have them in the water that they need, and don't foul the water up. Because if they're only going to be in there overnight, they're not going to be doing too much. If you got them plump and you got them ready before you put them in there, you could just put them in the water as long as it's the correct parameters that they need. I haven't tried no planaria with Hydra. It's pretty hard stuff. I have it. It's pretty hard though. 5.5 gallon. I wouldn't even know how much to really do a dose of that with. Man, when these raccoon tetras get fired up, as you can see, they get really colorful. Also have the lampi. I think it's a Phenacogrammus. Uh, I can't remember which one it was. I know it's not the Interruptus. The Interruptus is the regular Congo tetra. This one is the Aratus or something like that. Something like that. But it's the Lampi Congo tetra. I'll be I just fed this tank a bunch of live blackworms. So I'll be soon doing a nice breeding project with these Lampi Congos. So we can get some of these out there. I have one dominant male and two females. So it can be done. Now, one thing about this tank that, man, the light substrate helps this there's a blue phantom, a L128 pleco in this tank. And this white pepper substrate makes this fish glow. Let's see if it's underneath of this piece of wood right here. I'll have to drop the. Let's see. Oh, yeah, that's one of them. I don't think that's the big one. But this substrate makes this pleco pop. So let's say contrast with contrast. In contrast, let's say darker plecos that have like a blue to them that you can't really see their color that well, they would probably do well or do better on lightly colored substrate because the darker color substrate would probably end up making them want to go darker so they could blend in with their environment. But if it's already dark but it has color on it and you put it on a light substrate, you'll see the color because of the contrast difference. Like how uh, you have the blue dream shrimp on this white substrate, which is good thing because it allows you to see your quality in your blue dream shrimp as well. Because on dark substrate with your shrimp always look darker. They always look prettier on dark substrate, to be honest. So you don't get to see the blemishes and most of those things with your shrimp when they're on light colored substrate. I mean, on dark colored substrate because they're more colored up. On light color substrate, They're you get to see their blemishes. So like this blue dream right here is not something, if somebody was trying to breed the best looking blue dreams, this is not one that you would want. But on a dark substrate, you wouldn't be able to tell because the shrimp will actually probably do that full color that it is right there. Now, if I was serious about breeding shrimp like I used to be, I would have grabbed him out and put him in an African cichlid tank and wished him luck. But actually, this tank just blew up with shrimp again after I pretty much after I sold out all of my gold laser cories. Once one thing is gone, another will take over. That's one thing about this you'll learn. That's why it's hard sometimes to breed guppies and plecos in the same tank with shrimp in the same tank. Because when the numbers get up on a certain species, it starts to take over the food or it starts to take up the space for the other species, and then they'll stop breeding. Or you could just have a crash. Too much stuff going on at once. If you're not doing enough water changes. Yeah, this video doesn't really show the color of this pleco. And then this is the small one too. I think this is one of the girls. The boy is underneath of this big piece of wood over there. I just saw him. He's the one that's really colorful. I've had these plecos since they were about 2 inches. They're about, this one's about 3 now. So I've had it for a nice little bit now. Now let's take a look at what these fish look like on this dark substrate right here with these red nose to contrast the green and the black background of this tank. I went for just simplicity with this tank. I had a cool piece of driftwood. I had a big old thing. I had a small thing of moss at first, and I just hooked it on there. I was trying to make a Lion King tree, to be honest. Didn't go as planned. Looks more like a bush. But here we have some really nice colored fish right here. And you got to go off the background and the substrate. The substrate is black sand, but it still has peppered in with some natural rocks. I like to do that with some of the tanks. Give it a little pepper, put a little pepper in there, more contrast. As you can see, the cories are going crazy in here. Those are orange Venezuelan eggs right there. I should collect those. I normally just let them sit in there because I had so much stuff already growing out, but I might actually collect those because these babies that I have in the other tank just look so, they look so cute. Mm. Let's see. Thanks, Big Steve. How those Mexican dwarf crayfish doing for you? So y'all telling me y'all not keen to these Israeli kois? I mean, look at that. Woo. That's pretty fish. How about let's feed some baby brine shrimp? I'm gonna feed some baby brine shrimp. Alrighty. You like big fish? Only Oscars? I wouldn't be able to tell with that name. If I had big tanks, I'd probably have a couple big fish, so I could have a couple cull machines. They love that baby brine shrimp. How's it going, Sweet Acres? Welcome, welcome, welcome. As I said before, I just set up a Facebook, Aquatica 87 Heaven. That's the name. If you guys wanted to get in contact with me about stuff. I really wanted to show you guys this tank, what it looks like with just simple colors. This is really just black substrate with some natural rocks in there, some stones, green from the moss and the regular little plants, back background. And now the one thing I will say is these corridors, if they were on white substrate, they would pop actually more. You would actually see the orange more, and you would actually see that greenish body where you see in the orange Venezuelans. Whereas though they kind of look like the Corridors Equus that I have. Um, they actually do look like Corridors Equus when they're on white sand. So I would say if you have orange Venezuelans, put them on lighter substrate. You'll get the best color. Now, like I was saying earlier about the L181 peppermint bristlenose showing its spots more on a darker substrate and background, as you can see back there in the corner at the bottom right, there's one on the rock. Showing some really nice color. And this is a unheated tank. I don't have a heater on this tank. He's just been growing out in there along with these orange Venezuelans. Everything grew out in this tank. This was an empty tank, and I just threw a bunch of fry in there for my grow outs. They ate all them brine shrimp. They are Sweet Acres, and this video doesn't do them any justice at all. They will be on the auction this Saturday on Skipper's Aquarium auction. So I will be doing a pack of two. I think I'd do two pairs, and then a pair of Sabwa resplendens. Only if somebody's gonna breed them. If somebody would prefer just males of the resplendens, that'd be cool too. So you can make your option, but it's pretty much going to be like the red nose fish with a pleco and yeah, and some shrimp. So orange pumpkin shrimp or orange sun-kissed shrimp, whatever you want to call them, with snakeskin koi guppies and Sabra Resplendens. Can't find black sand. I get my black sand from PetSmart. They have some cool natural looking stuff in there. I like it. It's got they've got some other National Geographic. It was an expensive bag, but I'm pretty sure it was called National Geographic sand or substrate or something like that. I really liked it. Need 200 pounds. Oh yeah. And you might as well just use a bunch of river rock. Bunch of smooth beach stone. That would be cool. Okay. You just need a layer of sand to put underneath of it first. Yeah, I love the. As you can tell, I got all of these smooth rocks in all of my tanks. I love them. This tank up here that I got, I think it's a. I think it's a 13 or 16-inch rimless shelf tank. It's pretty long. It's about 3 feet long. I'm going to take those guppies and all those plants out of that tank and fill that tank up with smooth rock. I have a power head in there, but I have stuff around it so it's not moving so strong. I'm gonna move that, and I'm gonna put all of my Hillstream loaches in that tank and just pile it up with river rock, and just have that flow going in that tank the whole time. I'm just gonna breed my uh, loaches in there. So my idea of a cool, like what I've done with one of my tanks is it's a breeding setup, but I still think it's a cool setup. Is I have neon green rasboras, the Kabutai rasboras. I have them in a 20 long. They're a breeding group of them in a 20 long with my breeding colony of gold laser cories and blue dream shrimp. Now, forget the fact that I have the orange lasers or the gold lasers in there because they're always hiding. If I had stir-by cories in that tank, or maybe even those the green, the CW9s, the green corridors, the green laser corridors, the ones from Dan's Fish though, the ones from Europe that they've actually done a lot of selective breeding to get some really good color morph from that green. It's a totally different looking fish compared to the green lasers that you see come in from importers. They look like gold lasers, to be honest. I don't ever see any of those green lasers coming in from importers and they actually have a green laser. But those green lasers that Dan's Fish was getting from Europe, whenever he freaking gets them, and I actually have money in my account and I can actually get them because he gets them on random times because they're on my wish list. He gets them on random times, and I'm broke. I'm like, damn. I'm trying to get at least 6 or 7 of them so I could get those breeding. But like I was saying, putting those on that substrate would look, that is a black and white, so it's equal black and white sand in that tank, so it looks really cool with the neon green rasboras, the blue dream shrimp, and let's say let's say a cool cichlid, like a cool, what would be a nice cool cichlid to go in there, but a dwarf cichlid with some neon rasboras, maybe that's an unheated tank, so maybe if I put a heater in there, let's say around 78 degrees, maybe some Apistos, but you want some Apistos that don't really that really pop. You want a Apisto just one or maybe a pair that really pop. But let me say this: I have kept shrimp with Apistogramma, but they do eat shrimp. You got to do it right. You got to have piles of rocks. You got to have piles of cholla wood or any or wood in general. But I like piles of cholla wood. Really gives a lot of microbacteria and beneficial bacteria, and it gives a lot of hiding places. Like this tank down here has piles and piles of cholla wood in there. And this tank has the dwarf blue crayfish in here. So I have 2 males and 1 female in this tank. Let's see if anybody's out. I don't see any of them. Nobody's out right now. And this is really, really beneficial for dwarf, any like shrimp, dwarf crayfish, these piles of rocks or piles of wood, cholla wood. Um, when they get buried, which means they have babies in them or eggs on there or saddled, and they release the babies have more of a chance to live with all these options to go in and out of. This is a tank with some of the okay. Oh, I'm going for an hour already. Oh snap! Well, I think we're gonna wrap this up. Nobody really put any options out there. I guess everybody's in. If Alex is still on, they're probably still over there. So bad timing for me. But thanks everybody for being here today. Hopefully, I said something that somebody can go back and listen to and get some inspiration or some knowledge from my experiences or my mishaps. Until next time, I will holla at y'all. I gotta figure out when I'm gonna start doing these things like on a probably never on a schedule, but try to pick times where I don't see anybody on. All right, you guys. See you guys later. Maybe on somebody else's stream. Peace. And I thought I had grease.